this extraordinary city. And Peerlite, the brand that we're attending tonight, the factory opening, and the opportunities here for business. Producing sales of $200,000 a week or something at the moment in terms of batten lighting into this extraordinary growing market. But he's a tough businessman on the exterior. He's a bloody big softy deep down.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a great South Australian Trigg, really.
Without embarrassing him, I mean, I've seen him tear up on many occasions in terms of his attachment to our club. When a simple thank you from players are extended towards him, embracing him and giving him a big bear hug, which is quite a task. You want to jump up to get him. I think it's fair to say he lives for that, and in part for that. So he's a pretty complex big fella.
And Trigg, you're looking forward to the year. It's another year, but I think an interesting, challenging year for the Crows.
I think you're right. Is it Look, we're faced with this notion, and I don't think that last year, it's fair to say, and we've discussed this, we had as much development of our list as we would have wanted, had aimed for. Circumstances got us a bit there, but that means that this year there's a little bit more of that. But I tend to think that, without making grand predictions, if we have just a little bit of luck in terms of our senior blokes standing up, we can be really dangerous still. I read Rowan Connolly on the age coming up to KL, and he suggested that we'd be 15th.
They've written us off in Victoria.
And that's fine, and probably I have some level of understanding as to why that might be, given how our list might look with a Rashudo retirement and some of the senior players gone over the past couple of years. But if our senior guys who are remaining stand up, I'm very confident we'll be really dangerous.
Yeah,
if they're missing, certainly we'll be stretched.
I've had to do that exercise myself with the advertising. Admittedly, it's difficult because you're doing it before you've seen any of the guys play. There's no pre-season games, but you still have to do it. And you always try and put the Crows and Port Adelaide in the you try and get them in there because we're South Australian.
Did you get us in or not?
This is the first year I haven't been able to get you in.
That's okay.
And it's sustained by what you think is football logic, although sometimes logic got nothing to do with it, because there's a forward line that has to be reconstructed. There's a ruck division that has to be reconstructed. There's a midfield that relies so heavily on McLeod, Goodwood, and Edwards, and maybe Brett Burton if he gets thrown into that's unlikely. But if you're relying on all those three guys who probably won't give you much more than they've ever been able to give you. So I don't see improvement coming there. That improvement has to come from these younger guys like the Douglas and the Knights and the Van Berlos. I just think there's a few too many ifs. Everything will have to go right.
They're fair and plausible sort of.
So the point that I'm making to you as a CEO, and Andrew Payes just happens to be as football director, what sort of oversight, what sort of pressure, if you like, can you put on the football coaching department?
Well, we don't want to put pressure on them any more than they have to carry in their normal everyday lives. So, look.
What expectations are you giving them? That's probably a better thing.
The expectation is that we get this list development really in order, because we've talked a lot about in previous years about preparing for life after what I've described previously as the heavyweight 8. Guys like Rashudo, McLeod, Goodwin, Hart, Clark, Edwards, Burton, Bassett.
Smart was in there.
Smarty had gone prior to me starting that line.
Yeah.
Now 3 or 4 of those guys have gone, and only 3 or 4 remain. So we clearly have to prepare for life after them still, but at the same time the expectation is that we can make the 8 if there's an understanding there that we have the right run. Now, look, we tend not to want to benchmark ourselves publicly anyway. I mean, we do a lot, but publicly against Port Adelaide. I thought Port Adelaide's performance last year by injecting youth into their side is a classic example of where we're at.
Yeah.
Is that, and you guys know so well that if your core of senior guys are standing up well and you pack in around them the excitement of youth and the vitality of youth and perhaps in some cases the unexpected virtues of youth, you'd be very surprised sometimes, pleasantly surprised. And to Port Adelaide's eternal credit last year, although they fell one step short, with the bit of luck that I'm talking about, and I think that Mark and his crew would accept that they had some luck, then you can do very well. And I'm expecting, to answer your question, Graham, that with that bit of luck, that we can be very dangerous.
Footy can be fickle, Triggy. We've had a few callers having a crack at the Crows for letting Ben Hudson go in light of what's happened, unfortunately and sadly, to Ed Biglands. What would you say to those callers that we've had?
Well, again, there's a lot in this in terms of the decision-making. Ben Hudson at nearly 30, given all of the things that we have been saying about where we're at in developing our list, 3 very promising young ruckmen on there. We weren't going to be held to ransom on a long-term deal, a very expensive deal or proposition. The answer became no. Now, we didn't know, of course, then that Rhett would have a major problem.
But I don't think did you really factor Rhett into the...
Probably hadn't much, because these young guys have enough of Neil's faith at the moment that they can be...
they can do the job.
Hold their own. So I suppose the shortest answer is, would we have acted differently with Hudson? No. No, we wouldn't have.
Yeah, fair enough. You've got to cut him, and you can't... Players can't hold him.
And we'll see how it goes. I mean, if he plays well over there, then the obvious criticism is bound to come. But with all of the information that we had and the direction that we're going in terms of the development of our list, the answer was no. We're not going to give you a long-term deal at that money when we've got 2 very exciting young men in our club. And you saw the fact that Meeson went home because of lack of opportunity. Yeah. You've seen others that have gone home because of lack of opportunity. Yeah. So those who want to criticise a hard decision made on an ageing player with limited football on a reconstructed knee, and you can see what's happened with Rhett on reconstructed knees, the answer is no. We'll put the faith in our young men and to continue to develop them.
Well, mate, thanks for making the effort to come in.
I appreciate that.
I mean, it's a big city.
Past 45 trains.
I must say the boys have been fantastic, Stephen. They really have. A film they've always been terrific. We really appreciate that.
It's such a big city. It's amazing. Our hotels are just like
across the road.
2 minutes away. So, training this morning at the Police Academy. David Wilder's going to report back in, and then of course. Game's getting closer on Saturday. It'll be the first chance for the Crows fans to have a look at them and hear us. So
I'm excited. Can't wait.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming, by the way. And
it's all right.
I think, in fact, I was speaking to Susie, my wife, this morning, who said there's a bit at home in the press about Port Adelaide are in Whyalla, I think, and we're here, and why is this? And look, if anybody out there is saying why. Hopefully we've answered at the start of this discussion. The second thing, of course, is to say that when we get back, we'll do our community camp in the Barossa Valley, as we've done every year, and we continue to do our work in South Australia. Our strategic plan, if you like, I'm happy to give you an insight, is to be working harder and harder in South Australia, not to do the Essendon and Collingwood thing nationally as much as we want to continue to put our emphasis in South Australia in terms of development and attachment to footy and our organisation. But once in a while, just once in a while, an experience like this is invaluable for a whole range of reasons, and so that's why we're here.
And you wouldn't deny the footy club or young players that opportunity.
Their eyes are lighting up, Cornsey. I mean, honestly, it's a great experience, and I'm pleased that you said it, and you understand the culture. The bonding experience that comes out of sitting around last night
in the desert,
in the desert was just invaluable. So. Does it translate?
It's okay.
We'll see.
It's okay for young football. We've got to do it with KG and David Wilder.
You'll be right. I look forward to seeing you on a camel.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait, Triggy.
Triggy, thanks for your time, mate. Good luck.
Thanks, Stephen.
Okay.
Stephen Trigg, CEO of the Adelaide Footy Club.
Andrew